All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this masterclass all about breaking through your limiting beliefs. I'm so excited for this masterclass, and I'm in particularly really excited about this masterclass because your limiting beliefs are so important to shift if we want sustainable results. And if you're here, you're probably tired of self-sabotage. You're probably done with yo-yo dieting. You're probably done with, short-term results, and you're looking for a long-term solution, right? So if you're watching live, say hello, comment down below. I always love to see who's on live. So I'm excited. Hi, Megan. Oh my gosh, so excited you're here. Welcome. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and dive on in. I'm gonna share my screen. I'd also love if you guys can drop down where you're watching from. I think it's so cool that I have an array of people from literally all around the world. So it's pretty amazing. Okay, share my screen. Okay, so break through your limiting beliefs masterclass. So what we're going to be covering today is why true behavior change is actually belief change, how to reach any goal that you have literally 10 times faster, how to actually shift your limiting beliefs so that you can create results that you can maintain long term, which is really important. I'm going to share my step-by-step process to wipe away any limiting belief that is no longer serving you. And I think oftentimes we have, again, this limiting belief of I can, maybe I can, I either have to have food freedom, or I can feel good in my own skin, or I can, lose weight, but, I have to throw my health out the window, and we sometimes have these mixed signals. And the reality is you can literally have it all. You can have it all. And this is what I'm going to teach you in this masterclass. I am in Toronto area. So I'm in Canada as well too, Ontario. Yeah. Okay. So I want to share a little bit of a backstory. It's going to be super quick, just so you see why shifting your limiting beliefs is going to be really important. So back in 2018, I was always on some type of diet, okay? I was either following, macros, tracking calories, using my fitness pal. I was doing keto or intermittent fasting. I was always doing something, okay, with my food. Taking out this, taking out that, taking out this. I was always doing something. Of course, struggling with restricting and binging in 2018. That's when it was like an all-time low. There was daily, weekly self-sabotage and constant weight fluctuation. So I would go see my family and I'd be, down 10 pounds, and I'd go see my family the next month and I'd be up 20 pounds. I was this yo-yo dieter where my weight would constantly fluctuate, constantly hopping on the next diet and always trying to change my body. So as you can see here, these photos were actually really close apart. The left photo, you can probably say like I was maybe in the best shape of my life. That's when I actually struggled with binging the most. And on the right-hand side, I was actually dealing with a lot of restriction, which propelled me into the binge cycle. So this is kind of where I was at back in 2018. Now, what I focused on in the past was behavior change, not belief change, behavior change. So what I mean by this is I was trying to control my behavior. Stop eating past 7 p.m., take out carbs from your diet, keep all of your trigger foods out of the house, just eat less, just meal prep and track all your food. So I was looking at the behavior that I was doing, self-sabotage, binge eating, overeating, emotional eating, and I was just trying to focus on the behavior. So I was using behavior-based approaches to try to shift my behavior. Now, what this enabled me to do was I would do well with my diet all day, and then I would come home and binge. I would not eat carbs all day or all week, and then just binge on them on the weekend. Or I'd be too scared to eat, let's say, nuts because they were too high in fat, too high in calories, but then I would binge on the entire jar of almond butter in one sitting. Okay? When I focused on behavior change. Maybe you can relate to this. I always knew what I needed to do. I always knew what I needed to do. I knew a lot about nutrition. I knew that I needed to, not binge. I knew that, I should probably stick to the plan. I knew all the things of what I should do, but there was always this disconnect between actually doing it. There was like a block. I'd be super motivated. I knew what I needed to do, but I just wasn't doing it. Like I found myself self-sabotaging all the time. This is because I had limiting beliefs floating around my mind. Not a sexy thing to talk about, okay? Limiting beliefs are not sexy to talk about, but this is a huge reason of why I was in this yo-yo dieting mentality, self-sabotage, lacking consistency, because there were limiting beliefs in my mind. So what is a limiting belief? A limiting belief is a false reality. Essentially, you're believing something to be true that's not actually true. It just feels really true because you've believed it for so long. Right? So I'm going to share a few of my limiting beliefs. If you know that you have a limiting belief in your mind, I'd love for you to share it in the chat with us. Maybe once I share some of my past limiting beliefs, that can get some ideas spinning for you. So a few of my past limiting beliefs. I am always going to struggle with my relationship with food and my weight. Okay? So I think my face is blocking some of the wording, but it's all good. I moved it, but I don't think on your end you can see it moved, but it's okay. So a limiting belief I had in the past, I'm always going to struggle with my weight and my relationship with food. How many of you guys believe that right now? I always felt like I can't eat normally. Like I'm always going to fear carbs. I'm always going to be tracking macros. I'm always going to be up and down in my weight. Another limiting belief that I had was I am automatically going to gain weight if I stop dieting. So I have to stay on this diet, even if I can't stick with it. I have to stay on this diet because if not, I'm going to gain weight. So that was a big limiting belief. I remember, tracking calories, tracking my macros, and I was so scared to stop my dieting, stop my fitness pal, because I didn't trust myself. And I thought if I just gave this up, I'm going to gain a bunch of weight. Okay. If any of these are resonating, let me know in the comment section. Okay. I can't trust myself if I eat intuitively. How many of you guys have this belief? Man, I so did not trust myself. I didn't know when I was hungry. I couldn't tell when I was full. And I just thought if I eat intuitively, I'm going to spiral even more out of control and I'm going to gain even more weight. Right? I didn't trust myself. So I relied on a calculator like MyFitnessPal, or I relied on a diet to try to make me feel in control. Okay. Another limiting belief that I had, I am the exception to ending binge eating. So, hey, Alessia. So I had this belief that like maybe everybody else can conquer binge eating, but I can't. Like, I hate it, but I kind of like it. Like, I don't know if I want to give up that joy at the end of the day and that comfort. Like, it makes me feel kind of good. And maybe other people don't experience that. So they can conquer, they can heal, but I can't, right? I'm the exception. Let me know if this is resonating, if you have any of these beliefs as well too. Another past belief that I had is I will only be liked or loved if I look a certain way, right? I thought that if I was just in a smaller body, people would like me. Maybe I would have more friends. People would love me if I just looked a certain way. And growing up, I didn't have like one or two best friends. I had a lot of good friends, but not like one or two best friends. And I always thought like, well, maybe I'll get more attention if I just, am in a smaller body. Like, people are going to like me more. There's going to be more attention. It's a false limiting belief. Another one is my weight determines my worth. My weight determines my worth. For the longest time, I believed that I was only worthy if I was in a smaller body. And I remember like stepping on the scale every single morning. And if it went up by like 0.1 pound, I'd be in the shittiest mood and I would feel so unworthy. And if it went down, I'm like, heck yeah. Like, I was in like the best mood ever. And I felt so worthy. But this is a false limiting belief because our weight doesn't determine our worth, right? We are worthy for who we are, not the size of who we are. But the little limiting beliefs are really sneaky. Okay. So let me know if these were some of my past limiting beliefs. Let me know if you can resonate with any of them. Now, your beliefs directly impact your behaviors with food. Okay. So the beliefs that are floating in your mind, the beliefs that are so concrete in your mind directly impact your behaviors, what you do with food and what you don't do with food. Okay. So here's why shifting your beliefs is really important. You can do well with your diet all week. You're making healthy choices, you're listening to your body, maybe you're not even having many cravings. You're stopping when you're full, you're getting in your protein, you're getting in your vegetables, and maybe you haven't even binged all week. I'm sure you probably had a week like this, right? It was a quote unquote good week, so to speak. But if you believe that you are a self-sabotager, a binge eater, a yo-yo dieter, or somebody who lacks consistency, you know what's going to end up happening after that really good week? You will literally purposely mess things up because in your mind, this isn't who you are. You are somebody who self-sabotages. You lack consistency. You binge. This is a limiting belief. So I see this all the time. Lorna, why can I do well all day, but then binge in the evenings? Why can I do well Monday to Friday, but then mess things up on the weekend? Why can't I stay consistent? And if you have these limiting beliefs and these labels in your mind, and you are claiming yourself as somebody who lacks consistency, or you yo-yo diet, or you binge and you self-sabotage, your brain, when you're doing well, is like, no, this isn't who I am. Remember, you're the self-sabotager. So literally, Monday to Friday, as an example, you'll do well. And on Saturday, your mind's like, no, we always mess things up. I always ruin my diet. I always fall off track. So let me go in the cupboards and binge because this is who I am. Get rid of the labels. Get rid of the labels. One of the most powerful things that you can do is stop saying you're a binge eater. Stop saying you're a yo-yo dieter. Stop saying I lack consistency. Because who you believe you are is literally how you behave with food. Remember, your beliefs directly impact your behaviors. And if you tell yourself that you're a binge eater, what do you think you're going to do? Right? So this is a really powerful shift. If you believe I will only be liked or loved if I look a certain way, and my weight determines my worth, anytime your body changes, and maybe let's say you put on some weight, you're not going to feel good enough, because there's a limiting belief inside of your mind that says, I need to look a certain way in order to feel worthy. I'm not good enough if I'm this size. I'm not good enough if I don't look this way. Another example, if you believe I can't trust myself eating intuitively, or I am automatically going to gain weight if I stop dieting, if those are the limiting beliefs that you have in your mind, you are going to continue to diet even if you're binging every single day, because you associate intuitive eating or no longer dieting with weight gain. This was me. Like I said, back in, I was like following a diet for like 10 years. And although I was like binging, I'll give you an example. When I was tracking my calories and macros, I wasn't really tracking macros because I could never stick with it. I was literally binging every single day, but I claimed that I was, tracking my calories and my macros. And I continued to stay on the macros and stay on my diet, although I was binging every single day, because I thought, if I don't do this, automatic weight gain. If I don't stay on my diet, I'm automatically going to gain weight. Okay, these are all limiting beliefs, you guys, that we need to shift. So when you focus on behavior change, like I said at the beginning, taking carbs out of your diet, exercising more, keeping sugar foods out of the house, your results will be short-term because you're just focusing on the behavior itself. When you focus on belief change, you can get rid of these limiting beliefs that are holding you back and actually create sustainable long-term change, which is all what we want. We want to break out of the self-sabotage and maintain consistency. So where do beliefs come from? Where do beliefs come from? Every single one of us, by the way, has limiting beliefs. You might not be able to pinpoint what your limiting beliefs are. I'm going to teach you an exercise that can help you. But a lot of the times beliefs come from like generational patterns, family, grandparents, parents, the people that we grew up with, our culture, environment, communities, and, even some traumatic events. So let's say, for an example, you grew up and your older sister, or maybe your mom, every single time that she looked in the mirror, she would complain about her weight and the way that she looks. Okay, this is what you saw growing up. Now, potentially, you develop this belief that that's how you need to speak to yourself. You need to be mean when you look at yourself in the mirror. You need to be using negative words to describe your body and be hard on yourself as well too. We mimic these things because we've seen it for so long. We believe that to be true. If I'm seeing my mom or my sister look at herself in the mirror and not like what she sees, and she's beating herself up, well, like, I should probably do that too. Or if you constantly hear your mom saying like, oh, I'm so fat, or like, look at these rolls. Well, you might be saying, well, what the heck is she thinking about me? Right? So there could be a limiting belief of like, she thinks that I look that way too, right? Another example would be maybe somebody has made a comment about the way that your body looks. And now every single time that you look at your body, you hear the voice of that person that made that comment over and over and over again. So this actually happened to me back when I was in grade 8. I got a comment that I was fat. I was not fat. I was a dancer growing up. And every single time that I would look at myself in the mirror, I would just hear like that person's voice, you're fat, you're fat, you're fat, you're fat, right? And it's a limiting belief. So your brain will always search for evidence to make your limiting beliefs feel really true. Remember, limiting beliefs are limiting because they're not true. They just feel really true because you've believed them for so long, right? So the limiting belief of, somebody calling me fat and me thinking I'm fat, my brain always searched to find proof. So I would like put on a pair of pants that didn't fit me and I'm like, boom, there's proof I'm fat. Or somebody would comment, oh, you're getting up for seconds. Boom, my brain's like, look, there's proof I'm fat. Or I would eat more cookies than everybody else. And my brain's like, oh, look, here's proof, here's evidence for why you're fat, why this limiting belief is actually true. Okay. So this is really important to know because, like I said, limiting beliefs only feel true because you've believed them for so long and your brain is constantly searching for evidence. Okay. So I'm going to walk you through a step-by-step process to release your limiting beliefs. This can work for any limiting belief that you have. Okay. So this is the process. The first thing is a belief. We have these beliefs floating in our mind. Okay. We know that a belief is really just a false reality. Your beliefs impact your thoughts. What is a thought? A thought is really just a sentence that runs through your mind. What you think impacts how you feel. Feelings, emotions, sensations, it's really just like a one-word emotion of how you're feeling. How you feel impacts your behaviors, what you do, what you don't do. And the way that you behave impacts your results, okay? So I'm gonna walk you through an example. Let's say, for an example, you believe, a limiting belief that you have is, I'm a yo-yo dieter and I can never be consistent with my food. That belief creates a thought. Maybe the thought that you think after believing this belief is, I'm always gonna fail. I can never stick with anything. Now, hey, Jillian, now this thought creates a feeling. The thoughts that you think creates a feeling, an emotion. So when you think about, okay, I have this belief, I'm a yo-yo dieter, I can never be consistent, and the thought is, I'm always gonna fail, maybe the potential feeling is disappointment, frustration, anger, right? This feeling is created by this limiting belief. Now, when you feel disappointed, you feel frustrated, and you feel angry, what's the behavior? Well, I'm just gonna eat more food. I'm just gonna binge. I'm just gonna self-sabotage because I'm always gonna fail. I can never stick with anything. I'm a yo-yo dieter and I can never be consistent. This one behavior is impacted by this belief. I believe that I'm a yo-yo dieter. And because I believe that, I have these thoughts, I'm always gonna fail. Well, when I think about failing, I feel disappointed. I feel frustrated. I feel angry. And when I feel that way, what I want to do, my behavior, is just eat more and binge and self-sabotage. Because what's the point? I'm always going to fail. And when you engage in that behavior, what's the result? Well, probably going to gain weight. I'm probably not going to feel well. My stomach is going to hurt. I'm bloated. Sleep is horrible. I feel worse about myself. There's guilt and there's shame. Okay. Now, here is the problem. So often we just focus on the behavior. How can I stop eating so much food? How can I stop binging? How can I stop self-sabotaging? If I want to change this result, I don't want to gain weight. I don't want to feel well. I don't want my stomach to hurt. I don't want to feel bloated. How can I change my behaviors? But as we've seen, behavior change is short term. It's short term because, yeah, if you change this behavior and you stop your binge eating, you stop your self-sabotage, and you stop eating so much food, the result is probably going to be different. But this is why you can do well for your diet for a short period of time, but either gain the weight back or continue to binge because you haven't changed the things that are actually preceding and creating the behavior. Your beliefs, your thoughts, your feelings all dictate what you do with food. It dictates your behaviors. So unless you start shifting the number one thing that directly impacts your behaviors with food, there's going to be self-sabotage happening. We can't just create the behavior. We can't just shift the behavior. We got to go layer deeper, and we got to shift the beliefs. So how do we do this? How do we start getting rid of self-sabotage, and how do we get rid of these limiting beliefs? Okay, number one, you need to identify what your limiting beliefs are. Okay, again, you might, after seeing a few of my limiting beliefs, you might right away be like, okay, that's a limiting belief, that's a limiting belief, and you can call it out and you can really see it. Or maybe there's a block. For so long, I never realized that these were my limiting beliefs. So this is why it's also good to, have a coach or somebody that can kind of see your blocks. A lot of the times my clients will come on like coaching calls and stuff, and they'll be going through something, and I'm like, I just found a limiting belief. They're like, oh my gosh, I never realized that. Like, I thought that was so true, but I realized that it's just a limiting belief. Remember, I've believed it for so long, it's not actually true. So I'm really good at that, at like pinpointing your limiting beliefs. So maybe it's very apparent to you, this is my limiting belief. And maybe it's like so far down, it's a little bit blocked, but we want to identify what your limiting beliefs are. The second thing, once you know what your limiting beliefs are, let's say, for example, the limiting belief is, I gotta cut out all sugar in order to lose weight. You gotta ask yourself, is that true? Or maybe did a friend who lost weight tell you that that's what you should do? Like, is this really true? Or does it just feel true because Becky told me that I should do it? Or is that really true? Or maybe did the last time that you lose weight, that was the time when you cut out all sugar, right? Like, is that really true? Or are you just seeing like it black and white? Well, the last time I lost weight, I cut out all sugar. Okay, but that doesn't mean that that's what you have to do to lose weight, right? So sometimes we just get these ideas from social media or, family and friends. It's like, one of our friends is going on keto and she lost 50 pounds. And it's like, oh, I must do keto in order to lose 50 pounds as well too. Right. But there's other ways. When we have a limiting belief floating in our mind, we don't see anything else. Right. We just see the truth that we believe. That's why it's limiting. Okay. Again, the other limiting belief is, I'm going to gain weight if I eat intuitively. Well, is that true? Or is there a limiting belief that you just believe dieting is the only solution? Remember, like I said, that was me. I thought in order for me to lose weight, I need to be dieting. And if I eat intuitively, I'm going to gain weight. And that was because I always thought I need to diet. Dieting is the solution. Okay, here I am over 2 years binge free, been able to maintain my weight, zero dieting, and it's not true. right? But when we're so in the thick of the limiting belief, we don't want to see that anything else is true, okay? So comment below if you now know what some of your limiting beliefs are, okay? This is the first step. You have to identify what your limiting beliefs are. So drop it in the comment, whether you're watching this live, catching the replay, drop it down below, okay? Now, once you've identified what the limiting belief is, you have to know what are the thoughts that you think when you think about that limiting belief. There's a typo here, that's fine. What are your thoughts? Because remember, beliefs create thoughts. So once you have your limiting belief, what are the thoughts? When I think about this limiting belief, what are the thoughts that run through my mind? So maybe the belief is, I am going to gain weight if I eat intuitively. And the thought, when you think about that belief, you're like, I can't trust myself. I'm going to spiral out of control. Okay. Now, once you have your belief, you identified the belief, you know what your thought is, you have to say, how do you feel when you think those thoughts? What is the feeling? Well, the belief, I'm going to gain weight if I eat intuitively. The thought is, I can't trust myself. I'm going to spiral out of control. And when you think that, the feeling might be defeated. I'm feeling frustrated, or I'm feeling annoyed. I'm feeling disappointed, right? Of course, this is going to be different for every single person. I'm just sharing a common limiting belief that I see. Now, once you know the feeling, how do you behave when you feel that way? When you feel disappointed, when you feel frustrated, how do you behave? Do you eat more? Do you continue to self-sabotage? Maybe you have the all or nothing mentality, and maybe you binged because you were away from the weekend and you couldn't stick to your plan. And you're like, well, remember, if I eat intuitively, I'm going to gain weight. So I'm away for the weekend and I wasn't able to follow my plan. And now I'm kind of somewhat eating intuitively and I'm going to gain a bunch of weight, right? It all is because of this belief. So you get into the all or nothing mentality when you feel like you couldn't stick to your plan. It's like, well, I'm going to gain weight anyways, and I can't trust myself if I eat intuitively. So screw it. This is going to be a weekend where I just binge, and then I'll come home Monday and I'll get back on track. Okay. Now, once you have this behavior, you have to ask yourself, what's the result? Right? What's the result? Well, if I have this belief that I'm going to gain weight, the thoughts that I think is I can't trust myself, you feel defeated and frustrated, and your behavior is, screw it, I'm going to have the all or nothing mentality, and what's the freaking point anyways? The result, you're probably not going to feel comfortable in your own skin. You're probably going to binge, and you're going to probably revert back to restriction, right? This is all of this has happened. The result has happened because of your limiting belief. If you didn't have this limiting belief, you wouldn't have these thoughts. You wouldn't feel this way. You wouldn't behave this way, and you wouldn't have this particular result. So it all starts with your beliefs. What you believe to be true impacts the thoughts that you think. The thoughts that you think impacts how you feel. How you feel impacts your behaviors, and what you do with food impacts your results. Okay? Now, how do we actually release limiting beliefs? Two ways, okay? Two different options. I'm going to share both with you. So the first one, just trying to change the thing. Okay. The first one is to create a new empowering belief, which will create new thoughts and create new feelings. So remember, your beliefs impact the thoughts that you think and the feelings that you feel. So to release your limiting beliefs, instead of thinking this limiting belief, I'm going to think this empowering belief, right? So let's say instead of thinking the limiting belief of if I eat intuitively, I'm going to gain weight, maybe the empowering belief is I can honor my body and I can trust my body, right? Or I can, the new belief is like, intuitive eating is the most sustainable eating approach, right? What's the new empowering belief? Because the belief impacts your thoughts and impacts your feelings. So that's really like the first way, is creating that empowering belief, okay? So we have to reverse engineer. If you want to create a new belief, it all starts with the result. You got to work your way backwards. So what is the result that you actually want? Most of us that are here probably want confidence in your own skin. You want to eat normally, right? You want to be able to just go spontaneously for dinner without thinking about it, without obsessing about calories. You just want to be in control. Well, if you want that result, how do you need to behave? Because remember, your behaviors create your results. So if you want that result, what is the behavior? Well, the behavior might be, okay, I'm going to start listening to my body and I'm going to start following through with the commitments that I set for myself. This is not restriction, but if I tell myself that I want to start listening to my body and I want to start taking care of my body, I actually have to do it in order to get this result. Okay. Now, once you know what behavior you need to engage in order to experience a certain result, what comes before the behavior? In order to behave a certain way, you got to feel a certain way. Remember, when you feel defeated and you feel frustrated, the behavior is screw it, all or nothing mentality. I already messed things up. So if you want to behave in this way where you're listening to your body, what's the feeling? What emotions do you have to feel in order to behave in that way? Well, probably you want to feel accomplished. You want to be excited. You want to feel like you're winning. You want to feel happy. When you're feeling excited and accomplished and happy, it's much easier for you to engage in a healthy behavior like listening to your body than when you feel defeated and frustrated. It's much easier to binge. Okay. Now, in order to feel a certain way, we need to think certain thoughts. Every single thought creates an emotion. So if you want to feel accomplished and excited and happy, what are the thoughts? Well, the thoughts might be one day at a time. You can do this and I will get there, right? When you say that to yourself, like one day at a time, you can do this, you're going to get there. Of course, you're going to feel accomplished. You're going to be excited. You're going to feel like you're winning. You're going to feel happy. Okay. Now, in order for you to think those thoughts, you have to have a healthy belief, a empowering belief. So maybe the belief that you need to start thinking, I can't have a healthy relationship with food, right? Because this belief of I can have a healthy relationship with food is going to allow you to think, I can do this. You're going to feel accomplished. You're going to listen to your body. And the result, being in control of food, having confidence in your own skin. And of course, it's not this easy, right? Like, of course, we got to do the work, the inner work to actually believe these beliefs and shift our thoughts. But in the grand scheme of things, this is what we need to do, okay? So that's the first way, okay? You can shift your limiting belief by doing this reverse engineer process so that you can create a new belief. So you can repeat this new belief to yourself. You can, once you start believing this new belief, then you're going to start thinking differently and feeling differently, and it's going to snowball. Of course, this is going to take a little bit of a longer time period, especially you guys, if you've believed these limiting beliefs for so long, right? Some of you guys maybe have limiting beliefs. We all have limiting beliefs, but maybe you've believed a certain belief for months or years or decades, right? it's not going to take one day or an overnight success to shift this limiting belief and all of a sudden believe that you can have a healthy relationship with food, right? So the second way, which is the most powerful way to release limiting beliefs, is to use breath work. The reason why is because our beliefs are stored in our body, right? We can't think our way to feeling better. We need to feel better. And when we use our breath, you automatically connect to your body, and your body can start releasing what is no longer serving you. When you just try to think about, like, okay, instead of thinking this belief, you're going to start thinking this belief, right? We can do that, and that's a process over time. Or when you use breath work, the body does the work itself, and it can start releasing these limiting beliefs. Now, another thing with breath work, you might not know what your limiting beliefs are, right? For a long time, I never realized that my worth was determined by how I looked, or I never really realized that I had this limiting belief that like I can't trust myself. If I eat intuitively, I'm going to gain weight, right? And when we use breath and we use certain breath patterns, we can automatically start releasing these limiting beliefs away. So your body does the work, and you're able to feel to heal. In order for us to heal, we need to feel, right? And breath work is the fastest way that kind of like forces you to feel through your emotions so that you can actually heal. I've had so many clients that I've worked with. I do breath work with my one-on-one clients, my high-level Ditch Decade Diets Academy clients, and I also have a course on breath work as well too. Both all of my clients that I do breath work with, they'll come in and, they'll have these limiting beliefs, more specifically, even like around body image. It's really strong. Like, I'm not going to be worthy unless I look a certain way. And then once we do these limiting beliefs and we do this work and you feel through it and you're able to release those limiting beliefs, I've had clients like days after feel way better in their own skin and treat themselves so much better, have more compassion for themselves, because we're releasing those limiting beliefs. It's no longer being stored in the body, okay? With breath work, you can also release past trauma, right? We can't think our way to heal trauma. We actually have to feel through to release the trauma. It can help you to forgive either yourself or others, which can be really powerful in releasing limiting beliefs. And then bring in more self-love as well too, right? Bringing in more self-love is really important, especially with like body image and even your relationship with food. If you don't believe that you're worthy of a healthy relationship with food or feeling good in your own skin, it's going to be really hard to actually accomplish those things. So that's the second most powerful way. Here's the thing. Your body wants to hold on to your limiting beliefs. Your body doesn't want to release them, right? And here's the reasons why. Number one, safety. It's unsafe for me to grow. Who am I going to be without this belief? What are people going to think about me if I start believing something else, right? It's this safety component. I feel safe believing this belief. Even though it's not serving me, it feels safe to believe this limiting belief. Okay? Because it's what you've known for so long. Like I said, if you've had a limiting belief floating around in your mind for 5 years, for 10 years, it feels safe to keep believing that belief than thinking about a new belief, right? Especially with diet culture, right? It's like we feel so safe when we're on that diet, when we're in control, right? There's a lot more fear, eating intuitively. There's a lot more fear dropping out of the dieting mentality because we feel safe because we've dieted for so many years, right? The second reason you hold on to limiting beliefs is a lack of trust in yourself. So you believe like, I can't do it. It's too hard. I don't have enough time. Everybody else can do it except for me. I don't trust myself. to be successful. I don't trust myself to be able to fully commit to it. I don't trust myself. Okay. And the third one is fear. Like, what's on the other side of this limiting belief? What if things are worse? What if I fail? Right? There's a lot of fear. So let me just hold on to this limiting belief because I'm scared. I'm scared. Right? And the last one is a lack of worthiness. So I don't deserve it. I'm not worthy to have X, Y, and Z. I'm not worthy to have the body that I want. I'm not worthy to have a good relationship with food. I'm not worthy of having, good friendships, whatever, right? Like a lack of worthiness. And I've seen this with one of my clients, and we actually talked through this, and she realized that like she didn't believe that she was worthy of being in a body that felt good for her, right? Because for so long, it's like, I've treated my body so horribly and binging and restricting and all of these things. Like, I'm not worthy to feel good in my skin. I'm not worthy to have a good relationship with food, but you're worthy, right? Or I don't deserve to feel confident in my own skin unless I'm at a certain weight, right? So it's all these things. Hey, Alicia. Okay. So like I said, your body wants to hold on to your limiting beliefs, okay? That's the truth. And this is why, you guys, breath work is so important, because your body wants to do everything that it can to hold on to safety, to not make you scared, to keep things comfortable. But you have to really ask yourself, is this limiting belief serving me? Am I where I want to be? Do I have the confidence that I want? Am I comfortable in my own skin? Do I have a good relationship with food? Because if not, there is 100% a limiting belief floating in your mind. You can expedite your results so much faster when you let go, when you release these limiting beliefs that are not serving you. There's a blockage. If you find yourself lacking consistency and you find yourself self-sabotaging with food on the regular, or constantly yo-yo dieting, or constantly fluctuating in weight, constantly doing well with your diet and then binge eating and self-sabotaging, getting into the screw it mentality, there is a block. There's a limiting belief that we need to uncover in order for you to maintain consistency and to create a long-term, healthy, balanced relationship with food in your body. Okay. Now, as a mini recap, oh my gosh, another spelling mistake. It's fine. Behavior change is short-term. Belief change is sustainable. When you just focus on shifting your behaviors, you're probably going to see results, but it's not going to last, right? Think about all the diets that you've ever done. It's like, okay, I can take carbs out of my diet and see results, but I can't maintain it long-term because there's limiting beliefs in my mind. I haven't actually shifted my feelings. I haven't shifted the thoughts that I'm thinking. I haven't shifted the belief. Okay. A limiting belief only feels really real because you've believed it for so long. Some of you guys, maybe decades. Your beliefs impact your thoughts. Your thoughts impact how you feel. How you feel impacts your behaviors, and your behaviors impact your results. Okay, remember, behavior change is when you just focus on the behavior and the result. In order to get X result, what behavior do I need to do? But that doesn't impact these things, which actually create the behavior, right? So in order to shift your behaviors, you need to work through your beliefs, your thoughts, and your feelings, okay? You can shift your limiting beliefs by either creating a new empowering belief and getting your body to see that as like the new belief. So repeating it to yourself multiple times, repeating those new phrases, those new thoughts to yourself, and using breath work, the most powerful way to actually release them. Okay. How we feeling? How we doing? How we doing? I hope you guys found this helpful, and I hope you guys are just excited to see that you can be consistent. You can maintain a healthy relationship with food, right? Maybe all you've done at this point right now is behavior change. And now you're starting, like, light bulbs are going off and you're like, oh, no wonder I can't stay consistent. This is the limiting belief that I have in my mind. Or maybe you're sitting down and you're actually going to explore what your limiting beliefs are, because maybe you don't know what the limiting belief is. Right? This is really important. I do belief work with every single one of my clients, and I truly believe I wanted to create this masterclass because I'm thinking about, like, what gets my clients incredible results. Why can my clients end their binge eating? Why did I end my binge eating? Of course, there's the strategy aspect, like what to do, but there's also the mindset piece where you gotta let go of these limiting beliefs. Because again, you can have all the tools in the world of what to do to stop your binge eating, to feel confident in your own skin. But if you have these limiting beliefs floating in your mind, there's going to be constant self-sabotage. Okay. So if you found this helpful and let's say you want to really shift these limiting beliefs, you're like, wow, this is really powerful. Like, I do have some limiting beliefs that I know need to be released. Or maybe you're like, I don't really know what my limiting beliefs are. I can definitely support you. And I'm going to share a few different options with you if you want to take things to the next step. So the first thing I want to share with you is I do offer one-on-one breathwork sessions. So like I said, breathwork is the fastest way to actually shift your limiting beliefs. So I do offer one-on-one sessions where it's a safe container for me to actually work through your limiting beliefs, for you to process, for you to feel through your emotions and just process what needs to be processed and let go, release the limiting beliefs. So I do that, and that's really good, like I said, to create like customization for the specific limiting beliefs that you do have. Because everybody's going to have a different limiting belief. Maybe yours is about body image. Maybe somebody else's regarding their relationship with food, or it's a worthiness belief, right? We can shift those through some breathwork sessions. So we can do some one-on-one sessions. The second option, I have a breathwork course. So this is self-paced. There are 18 different sessions that you can do on your own time that will help to release those limiting beliefs. There's different themes. So there's a few sessions on like worthiness, confidence, calming anxiety, belonging, releasing control, trusting yourself, right? So there's all these different themes, and you can do them on your own time, okay? Now, the third option is if you want to go all in. So I have a 4-month signature group coaching program. It's called the Ditch Decade Diets Academy. And this is designed to improve your relationship with food, break free from self-sabotage, and end your binge eating. And we also do group breathwork sessions every single month. Okay, I'm telling you, breathwork is where it's at. It literally will expedite your results. It will help you to become less impulsive with food. And the Academy is really the fast track to success because we dive deeper into your limiting beliefs. We work on your mindset. You get the strategy piece. We do the breath work. There's a movement plan, right? There's so much, it's high level support in there where we actually work through those limiting beliefs and the fears that come with it. Like, I'm right there with you to shift these limiting beliefs. And most importantly, to stop your binge eating, and shifting your limiting beliefs is part of that. So the Academy is very, very high level support. It's also a higher level investment, but it's also higher level results. So that's for the person that wants to go all in. You want to improve your relationship with food, and you also want to experience breath work so that you can truly release these limiting beliefs in the most efficient, fastest way. Okay, so if any of that aligns with you, any of that resonates with you, and you are excited about this, you're like, oh, I want to try breath work, I want to do some one-on-one sessions with you, or I just want to join your course, or I want to go all in and I want to get high-level coaching with me inside of my academy, you can do that as well too. And it's a group coaching program, so you also get to surround yourself with other women who want to break free from binge eating and who are there to support you and ultimately help you to feel less alone as well too. So message me on whatever platform, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, I'm on all the things. Just message me if you are interested in any of those things that I mentioned. And we can work through these limiting beliefs, okay? Awesome. All right, you guys, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for showing up, whether you watch us live or the recording. Thank you so much. I hope that you found this so helpful, and I'm excited for you to shift these limiting beliefs. It's going to be such a big game changer. If you've never done this work before, your mind is about to be blown of how your behaviors with food are going to shift so much faster without just trying to shift the behavior. Like your mind is about to be blown, because when you do this work, your behaviors will shift itself, and it's magical. It's magical. Like when you release, I'm going to keep going on because this is just so good, but when you release those limiting beliefs, you don't have to try to not binge. You don't have to try to be consistent. You just are, because you've shifted the thing that actually causes the behavior. So it's so powerful, and I just love this work, and it's been so beneficial for myself and every single client that I work through inside of the academy and my one-on-one clients at that high level. We dive deeper, we get to the root, and we shift things, and the behaviors shift themselves. So it's really awesome to see. But anyways, you guys, thank you so much for watching this. I hope you found this so helpful. I love any takeaways, your biggest takeaways. You can comment them down below. I always love seeing what your biggest takeaways are. But thank you guys so much. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and we'll see you guys soon. Bye.